Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have tn-shi's Synthesis. This one was requested in my executive producers by Joshua the Great, and I was informed by another member that the art in this video, don't know how true this is, I'm assuming that they're telling me the truth, obviously, that this is AI art, and I am going to publicly drag TN, even though apparently this is now something that has been addressed and fixed and no longer happens. How? Don't. Fucking don't, like, at all. Fuck you, man. Like, I know you're not doing it anymore, congratulations. The fact that you ever did is frankly disappointing enough, and I will be ignoring the art throughout the video and just focusing on apparently the other stuff going on the screen that will actually be useful. I know the song itself is not AI, just the art apparently, so fucking stop it. And if you're doing that, stop it. But that aside, I'm gonna give this song a listen, and without further ado, let's go! Ooh. Okay, so we're getting, like, the actual notes being played. And even the count in the top corner. Okay. Anything else gonna pop up? Oh, look, a timestamp. Okay. Okay, we got tempo. All right. Even the structure, okay. This is wild. I'm sorry, you put this much into the actual video, but you couldn't hire an artist. I'm sorry, I said I wouldn't mention it. I love that the count here has just kind of become math. Ooh. I honestly really like being able to see what notes are being played. It makes my job a lot easier. Going for a lot of jazzy stuff here. You see all those notes next to each other? Ooh, we're shifting key. Okay. All of this effort. Jesus Christ! Woo. This is honestly kind of funny how this is being handled. If only because with all this detail of like what's being played, do I need to say anything? Changing key again. You can see like exactly the notes, like especially the ones that are right next to each other on the keys. Okay. I think what this proved, and I'll save that. This proves something, though. Jesus Christ, look at all those go by. You can't even see what they are. Except for, like, what's a sharp or not, really. Like, I didn't expect this to be like a multi-movement sort of thing, like different chunks. All right, see, like tn-shi, damn. Damn, the only bad part about this is the art, unfortunately. Why did they have to do that, dude? I know I said I wasn't gonna harp on that, but it's really hard when, like, you have such an amazing project behind it, and then there's that shit. Stop. Again, I know that that's been addressed apparently, but at the same time, bruh, like, all this effort on this video, every note, every section had like its own way of showing you things like the solos, things like the chords. Like I was gonna say here, this proves to me, showing all of the notes being played, like every single one on the bottom, at least for the main lead, I assume, it's like, you can just have random dissonance. You can have random clusters of random notes. You can put an F and an F sharp next to each other, and in EDM, you really can't tell. In this sort of like poppy stuff that's very like boosted trance and like hyper pop in a way, it's like more like hyper trance. But either way, it's like this aggressive sort of stuff. You really can't tell. You can just do whatever the fuck you want to. And that's not to say it doesn't take skill to be able to do it well, but it does prove to me that you really can just slap your hand on a keyboard and come up with a lead for basically any EDM song. And that's perfectly fine if you want to start a song like that. Go for it, then figure out the bass line, then figure out like what the rhythm section should be, base the chords around that, literally do a random solo, and then base the rest of the song around that initial idea. You might actually come out with something sensible, even if what you started with wasn't, because this follows the rule of jazz, which is if you do it and it sounds intentional, it is intentional. It's just something like, if you mess up on a jazz solo, just make it work. Put in a chord that follows that structure, add that note into the language of the song. Don't just ignore it. Don't act like it was an oopsie. Make the next chord have that messed up note in it. Make some sort of connection in there. Add some sort of chord that allows for that continuation of that relationship. That's the jazz rule, basically. So this proves to me that really what this genre is, and as a whole EDM to a degree, but especially these like sort of hyper trance, very hyper poppy sort of things, is that they're kind of jazz. At the end of the day, they're very jazzy. A lot of things are very inspired by jazz, of course. And this just proves to me that people who make songs like this, tn-shi, Camellia, and a bunch of other people who make these sorts of tracks and this sound are and could be very, very good jazz musicians if they wanted to be, but maybe they just don't want to. Maybe they find more fulfillment doing this sort of genre. You play the genres you like, you know, work in the genres you like, so why not, you know? But it also just makes me laugh how like this is very much a rule of music. If you make a mistake or you just act like you intended to make it happen, then it'll work. It goes from being dissonance to being color, which is exactly what happens when you do it in jazz. You make a mistake, you add a little bit of flair to it, and as long as you make sure that that song comes back to that one, and you make sure that it connects to something else that's going to happen or happened beforehand, that's color. It's no longer a mistake. It's dissonance, it adds a little bit of tension, but when you add color to something, if you add a little note next to another one, that's just a little bit of flavor, you know? It's just like spice on food, you know? You can have the normal like white bread ass food you want to, but if you want it to taste a little bit better, put a little bit more spice in there, have a little bit more fun, get a little bit sloppy, let things happen, you know? Just let it be natural. That's what makes these genres feel so authentic, makes them feel so organic compared to other EDM genres or other like dubstep stuff that's a little bit more like straightforward, and it tends to have very much purpose and there's not really a lot of slop going on. But this genre and every other one that sounds like it is very much like, hey, let's play around with what we have, let's make a mess of it, and then we'll just kind of make it all come back together, which is really fun. Great production on this as well. Every section of this, great adjustments, the chords slipping, like it wasn't just a chord change. They decided to like completely bend it into the next key, which is really fucking cool. Instead of just straight up using chords to do that like you would in a jazz solo or something, they decided, hey, let's take this and just completely bend the whole song to my whim, which is a neat way to handle it. I just really like that. I appreciate those changes and those effects. I also, again, all of the stuff going on here with like showing exactly what notes, the exact like BPMs, the exact like key signature, like all of that is really fucking cool. It's just so much detail going on here that it can be hard to follow, obviously, just like that one solo at the end where it was just a bunch of letters. It's like, I can't tell it's so fast. But it's still the fact that he was like, you know what, let's throw that on there. Let's add that detail. That's great. This entire track has so much fucking stuff going on that if you didn't have that, it would be almost impossible to follow. So that makes things even better and easier to follow for somebody like me who understands the majority of that and knows where it's going. But that sheet music, Jesus Christ. Like, I wouldn't say I can't read sheet music, but also I do have my limitations to it. Like, I can't sight read music and play it on the piano. That's a whole other level. But I can see what it is and know what it's going for and what each line represents on the keyboard, and I can follow that. I just can't do it like live, you know? So seeing that and just how crazy it was, and like just straight up having sheet music at all, even for just a few measures in there, was sick as hell. Just, again, great details there. It's a fantastic track. I just have no other issues with it aside from, like I said probably 4 times now, why'd you have to use an AI art image, dude? Come on. But I'll get off of that and avoid the subject any further. Thank you all so very much for watching, and despite me giving shit to TN about that, I do think this song is fantastic. So thank you very much for requesting this to me, Josh, and I am excited to hear more from TN, just like I think I have heard a few TN songs before, so I'm sure they'll come back around in the future. And if you want to request anything from them or anyone else, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee it from me, you can always go to Patreon or my YouTube memberships, where you can guarantee it from me. There's a tier that will force me to listen to anything you want. It doesn't matter who it's by, what it's from, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, and maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!